It's Fritz.
And I'm Nathan Johns.
We invite you to ride along with us. Well,
We're switching grooves.
what's going on, Nathan? We finally get to do another one in person.
Not a whole lot. We were out in the area and we figured we'd stop out and come visit you guys. Maybe do another live episode.
Oh, man. Well, we also have a special guest tonight, and a lot of people will be excited on who that is. So we'll get to him after we go through our normal spiel. But for now, let's just hop right onto it. You want me to start with dirt, or you want to go ahead with
Sure, you can
NASCAR?
start with dirt. I'm
I
going to
got
finish up
plenty
getting
of
some of my
plenty
stuff pulled
of
up.
dirt to cover. So
Go for it. I'm going to finish up getting some of my stuff ready for it.
So, well, let's get into it, I guess. We'll go ahead and then special guest is sure, Chevy guy.
We shall find out.
So,
Quite honestly, I'm not even sure who it is.
you're not sure who it is.
Nope.
So, well, we'll get started with the news I've been holding on to for about a week now. We've been having troubles being able to get together, so got like a week's worth of news here. So at the dirt track at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the BC39 event was successfully completed with a doubleheader. This included the second preliminary program, which was won by Cale Drake, as well as the main event. Despite the significant rainfall, considerable effort was made to prepare the track for racing, resulting in a challenging and heavy surface. So the main event proved to be exciting, featuring three different leaders and a dramatic late race pass for the victory. Chase McDermott led much of the race, but made a crucial error exiting turn 4 on the difficult surface, allowing both Kanan McIntosh and Jade Avedisian to overtake him. McIntosh, not quite sure how to pronounce his name. I don't follow midgets very much. McIntosh actually managed to fend off Avedisian to secure his first career win in the event, while Jade's second place finish actually marked her best performance of the season despite her limited schedule in midget racing this year. McDermott finished third after winning the initial preliminary night on Thursday with 7 races remaining in the season. Dazen Persley maintains a commanding lead in the championship standings ahead of McIntosh by 87 points. So that's going to be a tough race to make up, or a tough deficit to make up. And we'll see if he can actually pull it off. What do you think? Think it's possible?
I mean, I feel like it's not undoable, but it's definitely going to be an uphill battle. I feel like, with a big of a gap as he had, I feel like, it's going to have to be consistently, points gaining all the way. Like you have to get maximum points every week if you're going to catch, if not beat.
It kind of falls in line with the World of Outlaws points right now. I mean, it's going to be tough for Macedo to make up ground on gravel, and with what 8 races left,
I believe that's what it was.
it's just crazy. But more on that later. Oh man! So Ryan Timms, Logan Seavey, Zach Dome round out the top 5. The USAC midget season will take a break until mid-November when they will embark on a West Coast tour that includes stops at Placerville, Taylor, Mercer, Bakersfield, and Ventura. Oh man! So, however, if you want to catch any midget racing, the Extreme Outlaw Series concludes its season at Jacksonville on Friday and Saturday. So that's about it for the midgets. So moving on. In Ohio, man, this is crazy news. I never thought I'd hear this, but Cale Thomas announced his departure from the Jay Kaiser race in 23. A decision that took many by surprise, including me, given their successful partnership this season. They've actually had a great year together. Cale took over that car about a year or two ago after Chris Andrews left the team. Chris decided to go back on his own and start his own team again. So, you know, But man, I'll tell you what, Cale Thomas has been on a rail in that car. Like no matter where he goes, he's been just fast. And he's hell, what has he got? Oh, let's see. What did I put in here? Okay, so together, this year, together they have 8 victories out of 58 races, including 4 wins. At, 4 wins at Attica, 2 wins at Fremont, and 1 win each at Wayne County and Waynesfield. When Waynesfield came at the Speed Week show at Waynesfield, I was there for that. That was a badass race. To be honest with you, that was pretty fun. I mean, it was what close. I don't even remember who the hell he was battling for the lead, man. But it was a real. Oh, I think it was Tim Schaefer.
Possibly.
But man, it came. It was like that. it was
That's
it was
crazy.
badass. It was fun. But accomplishments actually included 2 wins in the Fast Series and 5 in the AFCS, with Thomas narrowly missing out on the AFCS championship to Cap Henry. So when that happened, Utica, the championship came down between. So we should put in the notes, but Attica, the championship came down to Cale Thomas versus Cap Henry. In the final race, all Cap Henry needed to do was finish 13th or better in the feature that night to beat Cale Thomas, no matter if Cale Thomas won the race or not. So that was pretty much set in stone for Cap to beat Cale. But that sucks. But Cale has had a great run this year. Congratulations to him, and I hope he finds the rider he's looking for. Man, it's awesome. Thomas in the 23 car this year participated in only 3 national tour events with the high limit. Excuse me, achieving a best finish of 15th at Kokomo. They also competed in 12 outlaw shows, secured 2 top 10 finishes, one at Eldora in May and another one at Fremont. In his announcements, Cale Thomas expressed gratitude to Jay and the team for their support, dedication, and wished them well for the future. He did not disclose any specific plans yet, and he mentioned his eagerness to explore new opportunities and challenges. Currently, it appears that neither party has secured their future arrangements, but both remain prominent figures in the racing community, and Jay Kaiser has demonstrated that his car is capable of consistent victories, and Cale Thomas has actually proven himself as a formidable competitor in Ohio with potential for success and on the larger stages. So while opportunities for full-time racing with Outlaws or High Limit may be limited right now, any team owner would be wise to actually consider reaching out to Cale, especially given his competitive edge alongside Cap Henry this season here in Ohio. So with Cale moving on, man, I'm gonna tell you what, I'm actually kind of excited to see who's going to take that ride over, because that is a really good car. And there are actually a lot of talented drivers, especially young guys in Ohio, that are capable of taking on that ride. So it'll be really, really interesting to see which direction Jay Kaiser goes, whether he decides to go with a local guy, help bring up one of the younger local racers, or if he actually decides to go national event racing full time. There's been a lot of speculation back and forth about that here in Ohio. So I'm interested to see, and I'd actually like to try to reach out to Jay and possibly get an interview with him. So, and maybe even just have a conversation, and he can give us a little insight on what their plans are for next season. So we'll see how that goes. I'll do my best and try to get some information for you guys. I'll relay that as soon as I can, if I get any at all. So
Go get him, reporter Russ.
shut up, Nate. You're such a
I try. I try to have fun with it. What else we got this week, Russ?
Book Motorsports. So Book Motorsports has announced the addition of Dazen Pursley to replace Justin Peck.
Oh my.
That is a move that people were kind of surprised too. But I'm not so surprised because it's been looking like it's coming for about half of the season. So I mean, it is what it is, and you know, I think Justin's going to be you know, the team actually will continue to compete full time with High Limit, and that in 2025, marking them as the first driver and team combination to actually publicly comment or publicly commit, I'm sorry, to one of the two big series.
Yeah.
That was already announced um, earlier this week, I would say. There's actually been speculation regarding Brad Sweet's future as well. And honestly, we should all just assume that Brad Sweet will
Resign.
return full time next year.
I'm not sure how
I
I would
mean,
even imagine the 49 with not Brad Sweet in it.
yeah,
It's a weird thought to me.
I mean, we got to assume that he'll return full time next season since he's already clinched the title
Yeah.
and they're securing a charter for that team and that car next year. So why would he not?
Don't get
So
me started on charters.
I don't like the charter thing. I don't like it in NASCAR. I don't like it in sprint car racing. I really don't like it in sprint car racing. It just doesn't fit. But it is what they do. It's their rules, and we just report on it. But the transition for Book actually marks the end of Justin Peck's 4+ year tenure in the 13 car.
Wow.
4 years he's been with that team.
That's crazy.
Oh, I mean, we'll see. But as a team prepares to embark on a new journey with one of the sport's promising young talents, we'll see how it goes for them. Pursley's participated in only 15 wing sprint car races this year, with Brandon Eikenberry's 25 car achieving a victory at Houston's in May and finishing in the top 10 at the Brad Doty Classic here in Ohio at Attica Raceway Park against the Outlaws. Though he is fast and skilled, he's still developing, so that suggests a steep learning curve ahead because he's so fresh and so young. But I believe he's going to be very successful. I mean, this kid can drive. You put him in anything, open wheel so far, he can drive. So, I mean, he kind of reminds me of a young Larson. So, you know, when it comes to dirt racing, okay, I know how you are with Kyle. But
He
he's
almost
still,
proved me wrong for once.
but
We'll get there.
but most of his success has actually been without a wing. So we have to see, and like I said, that's what the learning curve is going to entail, is being able to do it with wings on the car. So he has 3 career USAC National Sprint Car Tour victories, 2 which were secured this year, one at Knoxville and the other one in Eldora. So that's good. He can win at the big tracks, and that's, you know, how competitive the big places are. So he's got that down. Additionally, he actually leads the USAC Midget Championship with 7 of his 9 career wins occurring in 2024. Pursley appears to be gaining momentum this year as a driver, and it's crucial to capitalize on this success. So, this is a huge opportunity to capitalize on that success, being able to move into the Book car. Book's got a great car, a great team, and a great program to hand over to Pursley. So we'll see what he does with it. So hopefully he takes it as much advantage of it as he needs to. Oh man, he will wait until 2025 to make his debut in the 13 car, since the team actually plans to compete at Bridgeport in November, followed by the World Finals to begin their collaboration and ensure everyone adapts smoothly. So he's going to get used to the team before next year. So that's actually a good thing. He's actually a good idea to go along with for Book and the team. This decision benefits both parties, and Book transitions from one driver to another, and Pursley will be able to be in a competitive car supported by a strong team. While there will be expectations for him to deliver results, the immediate goal will not be to secure a championship. This approach will actually provide him with the necessary space to develop and learn and improve And Justin Peck's departure for the upcoming season has been confirmed, marking a significant change in the sprint car racing landscape. For several months, it has been widely speculated that Peck would leave the 13 team at the end of the season, and in a statement released yesterday, he expressed his gratitude to the team partners and fans while also including that plans for 2025 would be revealed soon. However, no official announcements are likely to be any official announcements, are likely to be delayed until after the high limit finale in Texas, as the team seems to prefer maintaining suspense, which Justin Peck and his team actually do. So it is important to clarify that Peck's exit is actually voluntary and he is not being fired or replaced. This was a move strictly done on his own, and he wants to explore his options. So, hey, great job to Justin Peck in the car. What I have to say to you is, man, you're going to be successful no matter where you go. Uh, and hope it all works out for you in the end. So, interestingly enough, the team has already announced Peck's successor before he publicly confirmed his departure or destination, which is different. You don't see that very often. And current discussions actually suggest that Peck may join another Pennsylvania-based national sprint car team taken over from a fellow Indiana driver. The specifics of that team's plans for 2025 are still under consideration, with possibilities of returning to the Outlaws or continuing with High Limit. So don't be surprised wherever they land up, because they're fully capable of competing at either level. Whoever Peck is actually set to replace has also been the subject of various rumors regarding future opportunities, but nothing appears to be finalized at this time, despite all of the online speculation. That driver happens to be Spencer Baston. So we'll see if that actually happens, if he moves over to the 5 car, or they keep Spencer on, add another car, or it just doesn't happen at all. So we know how silly season can be. So I don't know. It's going to be crazy this year. Currently, the only confirmed team moving to the Outlaws is the 2C with Cole Macedo, announced during the Knoxville event, while Dazen Persley and the Book 13 are set to compete at High Limit. And both series are expected to experience roster changes, with some drivers leaving and new ones potentially joining. That's going to happen no matter what, where you go, what series it is,
So
yada
I feel
yada
like that's
yada.
pretty common.
Yeah, that's just to be expected. This isn't NASCAR or a big series like that. And dirt track racing is constantly changing. So that's just the way dirt racing is,
Silly
man.
season just
But
starts early.
that's also what makes dirt races so great. You know, you never know what to expect.
Yep.
NASCAR is kind of predictable. So,
You can kind of see the writing on the wall. It's advertised
you know,
every week on national television. It makes it easy to see what's going to happen.
except the one of the worst kept secrets was Chase Briscoe moving over.
Wait, I thought
Chris-
Chase Elliott was
Christopher
joining Joe Gibbs.
Christopher Bell. I never said that. What the hell are you talking about? I never once even thought he would leave Hendrick.
No. I meant,
I mean, other people.
I don't know. They said
Uh,
Chase was joining JGR.
Chase Elliott will never leave Hendrick.
No, I know, but the speculations out there. There's only so many Chases out there.
So I'm trying to get through all my notes here. Recent developments within the sprint car racing scene. Actually, Brady Bacon has declared his intentions to concentrate on wing sprint car competition next season full time.
That'll be cool.
So he for 2025 he plans to selectively participate in approximately 40 events with TKH Motorsports in the familiar 21H car, and also adding another 25 to 30 races in collaboration with Chris Dyson and Shawn Michael. Additionally, he aims to compete in 15 to 20 non-wing races, targeting some of the season's major events. Currently, Bacon actually holds second position in the USAC sprint car standings, trailing Logan Seavey, and his rise in the rankings has actually been very impressive, especially considering he faced a challenging start with finishing 12th or lower in 5 of the first 8 races. So, He's actually demonstrated resilience, regaining the consistency that has previously earned him championships and securing 5 victories along the way. A significant factor driving this transition is the increased earnings per race that Bacon has experienced this year with the wing on the car. Can you imagine the earnings that he's had with the wing on? Despite recent successes in USAC, data from SprintCarRatings.com actually indicates that he has averaged approximately $2,474 per race without a wing, compared to $2,620 per race with a wing. So, which way would you go? I don't blame him for going the opposite direction. His achievements actually include winning the Outlaw event at Hauptstadt and qualifying for the main events in both the Kings Royal and the Knoxville Nationals, showcasing a strong performance even with a limited schedule of 25 races. A dedicated focus on winged racing could further enhance his financial outcomes. So, hey, progressive decision. I wish him luck. Good driver. I always enjoyed seeing him try. This past weekend, just the last couple of nights, Williams Grove. We'll get into that
Oh,
one.
there's all kinds of chaos.
So Friday at Williams Grove, the preliminary event for the National Open was ultimately postponed due to fog conditions at the track. The organizers extended efforts to proceed for as long as possible, but ultimately opted to reschedule for Saturday, and there appeared to be a lack of agreement among drivers, teams, and the series regarding the appropriateness of continuing the event. It's a lot of people,
Not happy.
yeah, not agreeing on certain things. Opinions were actually varied widely, and some were pleased with the decision to halt, and others felt it was delayed too long, and yet another faction believed racing should have continued, arguing that the fog was no worse than a dusty track surface. Can you imagine that?
Honestly, I've seen dusty track surfaces. If fog is that bad, you would know.
If they would have kept the cars moving, the fog wouldn't have got so foggy.
That
It
is
got so
to
dense.
be fair,
It
that
wouldn't have
is
got so
accurate,
dense, man. They actually drug their feet,
and that's
and
what
I
caused
was
it to be
watching it
so
on
bad.
TV. It was fine while they had people going around the track, and then they would stop and take a break, and they would just drag their feet. Like, we got to do better.
Honestly, when it comes to a dusty track versus fog, I feel like a dusty track is way worse than fog because as you're going around the track, it's moving, moving dirt around. With the sunlight, with the fog, can't see anything anyway. Can't see anything with dirt. I honestly feel like fog would be more, depending on if you're still moving or not. Obviously, I feel like the fog would be way easier to race in than the
It,
dirt.
it was it
Because with
was
the lights,
crazy.
you can't see anything anyway. It's just like racing in fog. But at the same time, if it's that bad that you can't see in a dusty crowd, you also can't see in a dusty, dense fog. So I feel like fog would be more, it's gonna move around. It's
Either
just clouds.
either way, but
If it's that bad, then obviously you should be racing. Period. But it's really, I feel like it's easier to race in a fog and dust because with the sunlight, the dust makes it you can't see anything anyway. But I don't think it'd be that dense.
well,
With clouds, it's gonna move around.
after 4 years, more than just over 4 years of switching grooves, I really find myself weary of discussing safety issues. Constantly talking about safety issues. This is actually pretty frustrating in light of the ongoing acceptance that fuel cells detaching from the race cars, and the absence of catch fencing at tracks like Williams Grove, where exposed posts pose a danger to airborne vehicles. The fact that 3 cars have left the track in just 2 days of racing is alarming, and Gio Selzy is remarkably fortunate that he didn't get hurt by any of those posts. He actually flew out of turn 4. Literally, he just careened off of turn 4, struck a wooden post on his way out, and actually was only prevented from crashing into the parking lot by a locked gate.
See, I feel like that's a very common occurrence anymore. I mean, we had McFadden clear the fence with Brad Sweet earlier this season. Corey Day, I believe it was Port Royal, cleared the fence in turn 3 and 4. I believe that's what the track was. Now you've got Gio Celsi, like you were talking about. I feel like this is happening way more often than it should. I mean, you and I just saw a report the other day of a car crashing into the stands, injuring 2 people at a late model race in Kentucky. It
Yeah,
it is getting out of hand that so many cars are leaving the racing surface and we're having situations like this. I do remember seeing a video on Flow Racing about an announcer who would ask people to move their cars, and when a car finally did leave the track and hit a parked vehicle, he kind of had the whole "I told you so" thing. And I feel like sometimes that needs to be prevented. At the same time, if you're dumb enough to park where the cars are going to be, you're dumb enough to get your car hit.
my
But
thing
with the
is,
fans getting hit, it's unacceptable.
my thing is, I fail to understand why tracks and series and teams consider these conditions actually acceptable. Like, when are we going to put our foot down? I just don't care for it, man. I can't accept it. I don't like it. We have to do better. We have to keep these guys safe. You know, essentially, if you look at it and think about it, these guys are putting their lives on the line for our entertainment,
Oh yeah.
and we have to do better to keep them safe. It's just bottom line, in my opinion. But unfortunately, it seems that meaningful change will only occur after a serious incident or death. And I will actually retain from further commentary, as I feel that it's just basically shouting into the void at this point. In that situation, and the other situation at Williams Grove that actually sparked very, very much controversy, I will say, actually involved the Outlaws reinstating Sheldon Haudenschild to his position following the incident with Chase Dietz. As Sheldon navigated into turn three, he actually nearly lost control, which led Dietz colliding with the rear of the 17 car, and it made Dietz flip. So, said Sheldon was actually still rolling. They said he wasn't involved in the incident, so he got to keep his position. Well, he's the one that started the whole thing. I don't understand. Like, I just don't get it. But he was actually ruled not to be involved in the caution and retained his position. So the decision ignited significant backlash online, with many accusing the Outlaws of showing favoritism towards the NOS sponsored car. This actually marks a stark contrast to 2 years ago when Sheldon faced criticism from outlaw officials while his car remained stationary in the infield at Weedsport in 2022. You remember that?
I think I
And
remember it.
at that race, he actually uh, because he was ready to go back on the track,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't let him go back on. So he actually got out of the car, threw his helmet on the track, bringing out a caution, and his crew actually displayed their frustration towards the officials as they gave to they flipped the bird to on the way back to the trailer to the officials. So NOS is actually is the NOS car actually indeed favored? I mean,
I mean, there is an awful lot of NOS cars nowadays.
and the series is the NOS energy drink.
Yeah, that is a little odd.
But regarding the rule itself, we actually previously expressed our belief that the decision made when Sable won at Fremont after being crashed by Cap Henry was contentious, and we maintain that stance. So, however, based on the current interpretation of the rules, the decision regarding Sheldon was justified, as well, he was still moving. So, I mean, it is what it is. I guess that's the rule. As long as you don't stop,
I do feel like it's a gray area when it comes to that also though. And I always felt that was kind of odd that if you cause the wreck but you keep rolling, I feel like technically you were involved in it. But at the same time it is kind of a gray area, which is really, really dumb. But I that's just my 2 cents on it.
But it's very tough. I mean, you could go out, shit plow a guy, take him out, wreck him, so you can win the race. Even though you're the one that started it, he's the one that has to get punished for it.
Yeah, I don't understand that one. I mean,
I don't see enough actual black flagging for stuff like that. I mean, this is a kind of
yeah.
a different situation, but
Well, I mean,
you
it's
know,
if he threw it in there and ended up taking Chase Dietz out, it's kind of like the same idea of Brad Sweet and McFadden, how that was an aggressive move that didn't need to be made, but it caused somebody to flip. If they're going to penalize Sheldon, they should have penalized Brad for the move also. You know what I mean? It's like maybe that's just my opinion on it, and nobody else agrees with it. Okay, I'm sorry then. But, I feel like if they're gonna penalize Sheldon, they should have penalized Brad to set the standard. But, to each their own.
well, here's my curious to see if the people who actually disagreed with our assessment of Sabo's situation with Cap Henry will actually support Sheldon Hollinshield in this situation. So,
Yeah.
but in the end, Buddy Kofoid actually secured the victory in the preliminary night event because they did move that over and run double features or shows, whatever. They finished Friday night show on Saturday, so Buddy Kofoid actually secured the victory in that, and Carson Macedo triumphed in the main event, winning that one. So
Get your tongue in a knot there.
yeah, yeah, I'm trying to talk a little fast. I'm gonna get through this quickly. So,
It's okay.
oh man, just
A
the
lot going on in the dirt
the
world
the
when you
new
miss a week.
in the new way that I'm doing this with an extra screen up here, and having all my notes can help.
The dirt news is a lot to handle this week, but
But this actually is Macedo's second career National Open championship, so that's cool. It was awesome to see him be able to accomplish that, and he was actually unable to close the gap between him and Gravel in the championship standings there. So 9 races, we were wrong earlier. There's 9 races remaining, and there's an 86-point deficit between them, and it's making it actually,
almost impossible
yeah,
now.
and it's basically
He had to be flawless.
increasing the guarantee that David Gravel will actually clinch his first World of Outlaws titles. So the next race is actually at Lincoln Speedway on Saturday, serving as a substitute race for the canceled Stellan Grove Speedway events. But my last little tidbit of news in sprint car silly season, actually a tweet from Nellie Jackson over the weekend revealed that Barry Jackson will transition to a more team manager focused role next season, likely reducing his travel commitments. And recent events have fueled speculation regarding the CJB5 team, suggesting that this change was anticipated and that a new crew chief will take the helm in 2025. Official announcements regarding the team's plans are expected after the high limit finale in Texas, which will also include news about the new driver that is supposed to be joining the team. So, with that said,
You forgot one.
what?
The East Bay,
Oh, yeah, I
with the
did.
hurricane, we have officially seen our last race at East Bay Speedway as of this spring, which is very, very sad. There is no more memories there, but I just wanted to make
And
make
that's
sure we mentioned that all
that
the memories
place.
they've had of East Bay. From what I've seen, I've never personally been there. I wish I had, but from all the stories and highlights I've heard that that place was electric when
Well,
it came to racing.
my dad has been there plenty of times. I mean, he
I
lived
wish
in
I had been
Florida.
able
I was
to.
actually born in Florida, so oh man, personally been there.
I
From
wish
what I
I had me
understand from
too.
all the stories that I've heard, that it's actually a really great facility, and it's unfortunate to see it
Go to the
go by the
wayside.
wayside and
Definitely
fade off
sad.
into the sunset. Man, I mean, I
Oh
hate to
yeah.
see it, but Usually that's the nature of the beast. And
That's just sad to say that it's now it's gone. I mean, I saw Flow Racing's tribute, and it was definitely cool little video they had on YouTube because I obviously don't have Flow, but watching the video on YouTube was definitely kind of touching.
so yeah,
So
it does suck, but it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
oh yeah.
We can't change it. So I wish I could. I wish I had the money to just buy up all these tracks and
Well, there's one. Well, there
save
was
them from
one out east.
extinction. But
I believe there's one out west for sale for what under $500,000. You and I should start a track.
yeah, go ahead and buy it.
I would love to. So
As soon as I can bend over and pull the money from where the sun don't shine, I'll make sure I buy
oh
it.
yes, maybe our special guest will help us.
I don't know.
Maybe he'll
I
sponsor
don't know
us.
if our guest is ready to come on or not.
We'll have to see. But all right, so you've got all your dirt news. At least that's all stuff I
I got all
remember.
my BS in, man. Like, sorry it took so long,
No,
but
you're good. We missed a week, so we have to get all this in. I know that I've missed what the last how many rounds of the
you've had
playoffs.
a lot going on. And
I know we had I think we covered Bristol. I believe we did. We have now eliminated our. That's right, because we were talking about who made the next round. Well, let's just say that the chaos from round one definitely carried over. Big crash, lap one at Kansas. It's like we never left. We never left the first round. We're still in the first round. Wreck on the first lap. I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe I should start keeping count. But we're up to like 5 races that Jimmy Johnson has been in, and he hasn't completed a single lap. I mean, heck,
don't get me started.
Corey or not Corey Day, Corey LaJoy and Justin Haley switched rides, and magically Justin Haley is now looking like Corey LaJoy. It's gotta be that 7 car, I swear. Turn
Are
right
you
across the
surprised?
nose. I mean, kind of. I felt like, Justin Haley would actually be decent in the 7 car. And now he looks like Corey LaJoy 2.0 taking flight over the nose of Harrison Burton across the backstretch. I honestly thought Corey was still in the 7 car this week or last week, but nope, that was Justin Haley just clearing himself across the nose of Harrison Burton. But we definitely had our surprises. We had actually, I wouldn't say it's a surprise because first round of the playoffs, round one, Kyle Larson hits the wall hard in front of Chase Briscoe, ends both their days. Round two, not even through the first stage, and Kyle Larson blows a tire, ends up hitting the wall, basically for the most part ending his chances of winning the race. I feel like this has become a common occurrence with Kyle Larson. He blows the first race and comes back and does great in the next, 2 races, which we'll get to that here shortly. But just insanity in the playoff field. We had, Denny Hamlin basically not do anything at Kansas. At least from what I remember, he didn't really do well at all. I'm pretty sure he actually crashed. I have to go back and look at those stats. But I mean, we have for the second time in these playoffs, we have a non-chase driver win a race. Ross Chastain pulls off the Hail Melon. I guess not the Hail Melon, but
That's
he
illegal in
a
NASCAR
Hail
now.
Mary and beats the playoff field and wins at Kansas last week. Definitely, a
Hey,
statement
it's
win, if you ask me.
it's good for Chastain. It's good for that team and their morale to finally actually get a win back. To be honest with you, I never thought I'd ever catch myself saying this, but I actually would like to see Kyle Busch win a race again.
Honestly, it's getting sad. And
I think it's so much because I'm getting tired of just hearing the boohoo bullshit about it.
well, here's what gets me, and I'll refer back to prior to Chastain winning. Kyle Busch had this race essentially won. He had a great battle going with Ross Chastain. And all of a sudden, I guess Chase Briscoe decided he needed to defend from going a lap down and essentially just put Kyle on the wall. Now, I'm not dissing Chase Briscoe by at all. He had to make a move, a desperation move, we'll call it, to, secure that he didn't go a lap down. That wasn't what I would have had in mind, but I mean, he moved up, gave him basically half of a lane, and Kyle had to either force his way around him, or lift. Either way, he wasn't going to get by him without some sort of issue. And sure enough, he Chase Briscoe pinched him into the wall, and he spun across the infield or spun across the backstretch, and ends up finishing 19th. So I'm not going to blame Kyle for that one, but I do think that he has just had some dumb, miserably bad luck. If it weren't for bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all, if you ask me.
Nope,
It's just,
not
if it
this year.
rains, it pours. And I feel bad for him. At the same time, I feel like it's not just the team that is messing this up. But we've gotten through Kansas. I've got most of the, playoff field has basically been, set for the final race at Charlotte this week. But just some notables from Kansas. We have William Byron finished second to Ross Chastain. Ryan Blaney finished fourth. Alex Bowman finished sixth. Bell finished seventh. Hamlin managed to come out of this with an eighth place. Yet, I don't think he got a single stage point the entire race.
I don't understand how he got there,
I
but I
still don't know.
guess.
He was at the cutoff. He was below the cutoff line at the end of that race. Chase Elliott finished ninth. Daniel Suarez with 13th. You have Joey Logano in 14th. Chase Briscoe with the 24th. Tyler Reddick, of all people, definitely surprised me. Him and Denny were supposed to be really good at Kansas, and they struggled all day. And another point with Denny Hamlin is, even though he finished eighth, first words out of his mouth when he gets out of the car in front of reporters, he rips his pit crew a new one because they screwed up on pit road. There were a lot of pit road penalties last week at Kansas. I have never seen so many pit road penalties in a playoff race ever across multiple teams. I mean, we had speeding penalty, we had loose wheels that somehow didn't come off. I mean, I believe Ryan Blaney was one of them. I mean, Kyle Larson ended up finishing 26th, and Austin Cindric finished uh, 34th, which doesn't help his case at all.
No.
I mean, all kinds of chaos at Kansas. And then we get into the chaos of midweek. We all saw this coming, although I want to know the results of it because this is very intriguing to me. We found out midweek this week that Front Row Racing and 2311 have filed a lawsuit against NASCAR.
We all saw that one coming.
Did we? Yes.
I did.
I for some reason, it shouldn't surprise me. At the same time, I don't feel like this is going to work good in either of their situations. I feel like, in my opinion, Front Row had way more to lose with all these moves they're making. If NASCAR denies them of their charters, all of these drivers that they're taking on and collecting from other teams are for nothing. They've now lost their rides at that point. If they don't have charters, they aren't really a team anymore.
But there is the potential for other teams to actually join in on this lawsuit now, because the simple fact that NASCAR basically told them
they have to sign or else.
Screw you. You either sign it or you lose all your charters. Too bad, so sad. We don't really give a shit. And I'm sorry, but that's wrong of NASCAR to do. They had 2 years to negotiate a deal, and they just blew it off.
Strung it out.
And waited until the last minute. That way they could get what the hell they want. NASCAR, you do not, in my opinion, need to own charters or own teams in the sport. You do not need to have it. All that is, in my opinion, NASCAR, I'm sorry to say, but is greediness on your part. That's how I feel about it. I don't know how my partner here feels about it, but that's how I feel about it.
The points that 2311 and Front Row brought up do bring some sort of knowledge to it. I wouldn't say knowledge. That's not the right word I want to use. They do bring some important facts. The fact that NASCAR more or less is monopolizing this, I do feel like is kind of accurate because
they own
the series. It's run by a family.
They own the tracks. They own the charters. The teams are just leasing the charters. They own the cars now. They own the parts now.
I mean, when it's
You
put
can't do anything. The
when you
teams
put it all
don't own
together,
nothing.
it does make it look more and more monopolized. So they do have a very valid point with that.
I mean, damn, the teams own a name and a building. That's all.
I mean, that
And this
is,
is a
yeah,
load
that's
of
only
crap.
fair.
I'm sorry, but the charter system was, like I've said, the charter system was a complete and utter mistake. And everybody that agreed with it thought it would be so great because the teams actually thought in the end they could eventually end up owning these and making them more like a franchise, which is what Denny Hamlin and his team want.
And that's not what it
So,
turned out to be.
and I agree with them. If they're going to keep it around, they need to let the teams have them.
Yes.
You know, they pay enough for them to buy them off of other
40 or
teams.
50 million, I believe is what it was.
Why the hell do they have to pay for them
Yeah.
if NASCAR is just going to be able to own them and oh, we can pull them if we want to? Screw you.
Yeah.
You know, that's not right at all. That's a bunch of shit.
And
I'm
it's
sorry, but
definitely a little shady.
I don't agree with it. It's a bunch of crap, and in my opinion, it actually eliminates good, actually good teams and good drivers with less money from competing in NASCAR like it used to be. Did you? I mean, have you noticed over the years how many great drivers we've actually gotten from the lower budget teams
That have
and
made their way
that
up
have actually
through.
worked hard and proven themselves through the ranks to get to where they are. And now anymore, the charter system doesn't help it any, but you know, with the sponsorship and the teams and the cost of everything, I mean, yeah, you got to have some money to get into NASCAR, but now you pretty much got to be a multi-million-dollar company to even think about getting into NASCAR. And it's a joke. I'm sorry, it is a complete and
Yeah.
utter failure. This entire charter system, and I'm sorry, but this entire team that's running NASCAR itself is a complete and utter failure, in my opinion. So it's
You're not
just
wrong when it comes to that.
I'm not afraid to voice my opinion. That's what this show's about, and I really don't care who that pisses off. So
It's not that I don't want to piss anybody off. It's you know, I don't feel like I don't feel it's right what NASCAR's doing. At the same time, I can't stand Denny Hamlin at the same time. So I don't want to, I wish I knew more factual input about it, but I'm really
but
hoping in front row sense that it
anyway,
works out for them.
enough on that because
Yes. We're gonna run out of
we're
time with
gonna
that.
keep going and going and going on that subject, and
We're
that's just
preaching to the wall.
there's a lot going on that we don't know yet.
Oh
So
yes.
anyways, now we got to move on to
We got to move on to
today's event
Talladega,
or
which
this weekend. I don't know if you got any truck or Xfinity to talk about
I
this
don't
weekend,
really
but
have any of that yet. I will say that there were some really good finishes for lower teams. Reunion Brothers Racing had a great finish. I believe they had both trucks. At least one of them, I think, was in the top five. They had, I don't think it was Josh. I forget who it was now.
all right. Well,
Lawless Allen, I
since you're
believe.
getting ready to talk about Rayoon Brothers, I'm gonna stop you there, and I'm gonna bring our guest in, which I'm kind of excited because it's been a while, but I don't know. You ready, man? Someone that is actually very familiar to the show, and I'm actually excited to have him back. Oh,
Holy cow!
good old
It's
Richard
Chevy Guy.
Dooling. The man that originally started this all with me, and it's
Back.
it's awesome to have you back tonight, dude. I wish I could be all the time, but you just don't follow racing anymore. So,
Well, it's about to change, it sounds like. So
Hopefully.
maybe I'll be back for good.
Hopefully.
but, man, I tell you what, man, no matter how often you're on the show, you're always going to be a big part of it. You know, I appreciate you helping me get this going, dude. I mean, it's an awesome thing. I love doing it. I got a great co-host now. You know, this guy, like, if if it doesn't pertain to racing, he doesn't want anything to do with it. So,
I try to minimize my other facts. I like to just watch
I will
racing.
say this: I like that you talk about more of dirt racing than just NASCAR now, and you know,
You can do a
I
little bit of
like the way
everything.
like we tried to do.
Well, and I actually kind of had to switch up the persona of the show just a little bit because of the name that we chose was actually, your opinion versus my opinion, and worked out well that way for you and I. But when I brought Nathan on, I had to find a way because his opinion versus my opinion doesn't work that well with him and I. So I had to figure a way to switch it up and going from, okay, I'm a huge dirt fan and I don't follow NASCAR like I used to, whereas Nathan loves NASCAR and he follows it religiously.
Yep.
So it worked out with the name and I didn't have to change the name of the show. So it worked out. So
But
I'm
yeah, hopefully I can bring back the big names like I did before. But it's good to see that Josh is actually doing something instead of finishing in the back. I mean,
so back to today.
so what happened with Rayum? What are they doing?
Actually, it wasn't even Reum that finished the top 5. It was Lawless Allen,
Well,
which is
it's
shocking
still
to
the
me.
team.
It's
That's
still a team.
huge,
Yeah, that's. I feel like that's the first top 5
mean,
I've
they
seen
worked
from
their
them in
butts off.
quite some time. So that was a big shocker to me. I actually don't think I've seen the 33 up front.
Quite
At
a
least,
while.
at
About
least
freaking
since
time.
about it's been quite a few
I
years.
should give Josh a call and tell him it's about freaking time.
I'm trying to see what other drivers were part of that. I mean, with top 10, Grant Infinger, managed to pull off another win at Talladega in the round.
Here you go. Here's a microphone for you.
Oh, I
That
got
might
it.
He
help.
managed to get over. He managed to
Well,
win his
There we go.
I'm
second.
important now.
Yeah, you're
uh,
important now.
I
Sorry,
believe
I
it's
forgot
his.
to hand that to you a few minutes ago.
I believe it's his second Talladega win, and I believe he's advanced to the championship 4 with that win. Um, I believe, yeah, he's. I thought he had advanced, maybe not. But either way, so we've got Grant Infinger winning the race, Taylor Gray for second, Daniel Dye third. Daniel Dye has definitely surprised me. He's used, from what I've watched, he's usually the guy that they always go to for the onboard camera of the near misses. And he's starting to make it a point where he's not in the back
Is he that
with
bad?
these. Well, no, it's not that he's bad. It's that he was running towards mid pack, towards the back, but he was always in the near misses. He would always end up missing the crashes, but have spectacular onboard video of each incident. Now he's not only having these special onboards, he's running towards the front. And I feel like that's great for him because I'm not used to seeing him up front. So it was definitely cool to see some of that stuff up there. Rajah Caruth, obviously, he's got Hendrick cars backing him, so he'll be up front. Lawless Allen with Josh Ream Racing, or Ream Brothers Racing, I should say,
That's my
with
boys.
a top 5, which is spectacular for them. Christian Eckes, 6th. Ryan Reed in the 91, which you don't see that car up front very often. He finished 7th. Stephen Parsons in the 75 finished 8th. Brent Holmes and Spencer Boyd round up the top 10. Those are some names you don't normally see.
Yeah, you don't see those guys
No,
up front
usually
very
they're
often.
way in the back.
And then you got, the front runners. Corey Heim, Ty Majeski, Stuart Friesen, Tyler Ankrum. All these guys you expect them to be in the top 10, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. And then of course we got Corey Day, normally at the back of the pack. He got 16th with Clay Greenfield, which I believe Clay and Norm Benning got into it a few years ago at Eldora. Clay got a top 15 out of this event. It was definitely a topsy-turvy event. I believe if this was the playoff cutoff, they eliminated. Let's see. Yeah, they eliminated Brent Ben Rhodes was eliminated because of this
Really?
race. Last year's, I believe, it was last year's a back-to-back champion was eliminated after this round because he just couldn't
Damn,
make it
I've
up.
been
I
missing
was
a lot.
shocked. Well, he was just eliminated 2 days ago, which is insane to me. That I feel like that team just has not been firing on all cylinders this year. It's kind of shocking that he was eliminated, but at the same time, they just have not been what they used to be. It's
Mhm.
kind of surprising to me. I mean, and then of course we get to Xfinity yesterday. Sammy Smith wins the race, but after the fact, Sam Mayer was eliminated, or not eliminated. He was disqualified post race. I believe it was ride height in the rear. I believe it was. I have to go back and look for it. But I think he finished 12th originally, and they penalized him all the way to, what was it, 38th? 30th place,
Wow.
which is huge when it comes to points, because I believe he was in the championship. He went from, I believe it was 4th in points to 11th. If I remember correctly, he was in contention to win the to still be in playoff position, or still in advancing position, and now he is 13 points back from the cutoff. Currently below the cutoff, and this is what gets me, is there's quite a few drivers below the cutoff in the Xfinity Series that you would think would advance easily. With the DQ of Sam Mayer, it puts AJ Allmendinger above the cutoff line. Prior to this, he was out. Now we have Justin Allgaier, who you would think would be in contention all year. He's 9th. SVG, which we're going to a road course, so that could change very quickly with the
He could win
Roval.
that.
He could easily win that, but
Yeah.
we've also got Justin Allgaier. He's a road course ringer, so that could be interesting there. Sam Mayer is now, he went from, I
Which road
believe it
course are
was
they at?
the Roval. They're
The
going to the
Roval.
Roval this week.
Oh, I thought
or
they
next
did away.
week.
I thought they did away with that.
I wish they
would.
wouldn't.
No,
Well, I wish they
I
wouldn't.
wish they would.
Because I feel like that's a good look.
I wouldn't.
With
I
the
don't
Glen
like that
being
race.
in this year, I feel like it should have been removed. At the same
There's
time,
not much road
No.
course to it. Most of it is going around the oval. Like,
yes,
what the hell is the
it
point in
is. But I think it's more of a fan thing, which I don't agree with.
I
being
don't.
in for
I
that
don't agree
reason,
with that.
But it's it's
They should get rid of it.
if
I'd
they're
rather see him run the road course at Daytona than running.
to
Ex-
be
that's what
fair,
I was
I
just
kind
gonna
of
say.
like that one, but at the same time, I'm on the fence with it also. But rounding off the top 12 in points, which this coming week will be the cutoff race, Parker Kligerman. This is his last year driving full time. If he can advance, that'd be big for him. I don't know if he'll advance, but at the same time, I kind of hope he would at least get a chance at the championship 4 before he retires full time. I feel like that would be cool. But I'm the underdog story guy. I love that stuff. But then
Well,
we get to the Cup Series race, which I will say
I
from
heard
the
that was
parts
like a demolition derby.
I wouldn't
At
say
the
that.
end.
It felt like
Yeah.
a snooze fest for the first few first
You know how
few
them
stages for me. I
those
mean, at
plate
least
races are always like
I felt like it was a snooze fest up till I don't know second stage. But then again, we have Daniel Suarez, which I understand you're fighting for a playoff spot, but when you were going a lap down and you try to jump in front of the field and they all go around you, I would not be trying to jump in front of anybody you can to catch a draft. I would have just gotten to the back of the line and just caught the draft and try to work your way back up there. Not try to jump in front of the line and cut off the leader.
Where's Suarez in points?
I believe he is now 12th in points after today. We're
after
about to
today
get
he'll be eliminated.
we're about to get to that. But
Where's
instead of
Chastain in points?
he did not make the
He's
playoffs.
not even
He did not make the playoffs this
in
year.
the championship.
But he
So
won. He
so
won
that
a race.
means my friends that run the DNQ series are about out of the.
Well, let's get through the first stage here because
Ugh.
I'm very perplexed by the move that Daniel Suarez does. He gets in front of the field. They all take him 4 wide. He drops to the back. Rather than just get in line, he proceeds he's going to try to get to the outside line. Hits the only car out there who really can't go anywhere else, and just chops BJ McLeod. Puts Daniel right into the outside wall and ends up spinning down the track.
I watched that. I watched the highlight of that a little bit ago. It's like, how did he not see him there?
I mean, I understand that the spotter stand is that far out there, but if you could see there was cars behind you, I wouldn't even try to move up. I would have just held my ground
Yeah,
and
that's
waited till they
stupid on
got
his
by
part.
and then get in and catch the draft. I mean, he was moving fast enough that he probably could have been up to enough speed to get in behind him. But he didn't. He tried to throw it in front of the slowest car out there and got wrecked by it. The definition of
Well-
getting wrecked by the slowest car out there wasn't even BJ McLeod's fault this time. And that's a sad thought.
No,
Is
it knocked him
usually
out
it's just
too.
some lap car wrecking you. The
Yeah.
lap car wrecked himself that time. And of that caliber, it's a little surprising.
Yeah,
But that was our excitement for stage
they shouldn't
one.
be. They shouldn't be a lap car, anyways.
Oh, I believe they had some sort of penalty. It was either pre-race or some sort of pass-through penalty that ended up putting them on pit road to start with.
That's okay.
But
That makes sense.
there's more to that there with that headline there. We get to the end of stage 2, and there's a massive crash with playoff implications. Coming to the end of stage 2,
Yep.
Well, this is
we
why
have
they have this race in place. Is for
it's
that
for the
reason.
chaos.
Yep.
We're coming to the end of stage 2. They're 3 wide coming to the line. They all spread out like they always do. And Ryan Blaney takes a shot from Alex Bowman, ends up turning him right across the front of the field, collecting Ross Chastain. They end up finishing 39th and 40th on the day because nobody else was out of the race yet. And that was just the end stage 2.
That's a massive blow for Blaney because he was actually running pretty well.
He was on the verge of, actually being okay in the next round.
He's probably definitely
now he's going to
out
be
now.
in danger. He's actually 6th in points post Talladega, funny enough. But he was in the green quite a
So
ways.
where's this put him on the cutoff?
This puts him 25 points above the cutoff line. He's essentially further in than Austin Cindric is out. Austin Cindric is out 29, which, I think he started 12th. So he made up a little ground, but not a lot.
Because Elliott's on the bubble now too.
Yeah, Elliott's definitely on the bubble, which
he's
throughout
actually
the
the
course
last
of the
one.
day, I was kind of surprised.
So who is doing good right now in the points?
Currently, William Byron has advanced to the next round.
But
If he wins at the Roval, it's just an extra lock-in.
Who's the top 5?
Currently, above the cutoff line, William Byron has obviously advanced.
Yeah.
Christopher Bell is 57 points to the good, so he will probably advance also if it goes well. But
I mean,
then
first
again, we'll
through
see.
5th, who is the top 5?
William Byron, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, somehow Denny Hamlin. And I'm going to put an asterisk on that one.
Really?
Alex Bowman is 5th. That's our top 5 so far.
My question is how in the hell did Bowman get up that way?
I'm actually quite shocked with them this playoff year.
I'm more surprised at Bowman being up there than I am Hamlin.
Here's how I see it with the point system. This is what Hamlin and them guys were talking on their show that I was watching the other day. Larson was so high in points, he should be in the final 4 guaranteed no matter what.
I'm going to dispute that.
I don't like this NASCAR playoff situation. If you win that regular championship or you have the most points going in, you should be automatically locked in.
See, here's the thing for me, and this is what kind of surprised me.
If they could take it to final 5, and the playoffs goes to
or
the last
that works
4,
too. I mean, whoever wins the regular championship and the season championship should be locked in. And
so
the
regular
5.
season,
I like that idea.
The regular season champion isn't involved in the playoffs at all because he automatically advances. So it'll be 2nd through 17th who actually have to run through the playoffs to make it to the final 5, and then
let me stop you there, because the regular season champion this year was Tyler Reddick.
Yep.
Tyler Reddick is 7th. He has had a miserable playoffs, in my opinion.
My point exactly.
Able to do absolutely crap.
He had a great season, but now it's all of a sudden went to crap.
Well, that's the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
They're usually really good at Kansas. They absolutely sucked at Kansas this year. They won at Talladega this year.
Yep.
They were far from good, in my opinion. I don't think their names are very much mentioned. I don't even know if Tyler Reddick was up front the entire race. The Fords and the Chevys were up front more than any Toyota that I'm aware of.
Good.
I mean, I was quite surprised by how that race
I hope all the Yodas blow up.
Hopefully not mine. I drive one. I would rather not.
Well,
but
that's not my problem.
I know. But when it comes to, we get through the second stage, obviously we've already eliminated Ross Chastain and Ryan Blaney. Now we get the big one.
Wait a minute. Ryan Blaney, what happened to Ryan?
He came across the front of the one of Ross Chastain. I was trying to tell that story.
Oh, okay.
Alex Bowman gave him a shot coming to the line, and I guess they weren't squared up. And it turned Ryan Blaney across the front of the field, causing damage to Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain. Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin. Now, I know you guys have all heard the story before, but Denny Hamlin does not look like the Denny Hamlin we know from past years. He has been literally riding that cutoff line since we left Darlington.
I hope he gets eliminated.
I would love to have that happen, but that's just my 2 cents.
Mine
But
too.
I mean, he hasn't been able to do absolute crap till Bristol. He was almost below the cutoff line at, Watkins Glen. Got wrecked in the very first corner, I believe, along with Ryan Blaney. Of course, that was when Corey LaJoy, just kind of bulldozed his way through the bus stop.
So
Nothing new. But, then we go to Bristol and magically he's able to make up all this ground. We go to Kansas and both him and Tyler Reddick are absolute crap the entire race. Talladega runs up front for the most part, gets involved in a wreck at the end of stage 2. He's almost along the lines of Kyle Busch. When I hate saying it because Kyle Busch is at least a champion. He's just in a slump. I don't know about Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin, I'm kind of hoping it finally catches up with him. What was that?
He's in a big slump.
I hope it's the 0-20 slump that goes to 0-21.
Shit.
we actually had a question.
Okay.
What from Jonathan Savage? What do you guys think about the 3-car making it happen? Making what happen?
I didn't know the 3-car was making anything happen, and I haven't even seen it.
A big shit show at the race. Where the hell was that at? Richmond.
Oh,
that's all that he made happen at Richmond was
he made himself look like an idiot. That's what it comes down to. Is Richard Childress?
Keep me out of this.
Richard Childress has become the biggest circus in NASCAR, and I hate saying it that way because I actually used to respect Richard Childress racing, but lately it's been a circus. You got Austin Hill punching out Myatt Snyder.
When did that happen?
That was a few years ago. Then last year, we've got Sheldon Creed, his own teammate, and Austin Hill going at it. And they took Austin Hill's side after Sheldon Creed basically had to win his way in to make it. And not Sheldon Creed. Austin Hill was already locked in. Had Sheldon Creed won the race, they would have both made it and had a chance to win the championship together. But no, Austin Hill got greedy and tried to take out Sheldon Creed, and they had a big argument on pit road. Everybody sided with Austin Hill. Andy Petrie had some pretty not so nice words for Sheldon Creed's team, and Sheldon Creed ended up going to JGR anyway, which, to be fair, hasn't done him much good to start with.
So,
but we're sensitive. This has been nothing good for Richard Childress Racing. It has gone downhill since that race.
So did we actually make it through?
No, we have not finished Talladega
race yet.
We have not finished through Talladega yet.
Let's make it through the race.
I'm trying.
Yeah, I got other stuff to talk about.
I'm trying my best.
Yeah, let's make it through.
So we get all the way through this race. We finally get down to 5 to go. And I believe there was some sort of penalty to Todd Gilliland, which Todd Gilliland ran up front all day. I give him full credit. He was flying. Had some sort of penalty, had to come down pit road. That's his thing. He was getting out of the way. And for some reason, from the camera view they showed, Austin Cindric was so far out that there is speculation if he lifted to get closer to Brad Keselowski, or if Joey Logano hit him so hard that when he hit Cindric, when Keselowski hit Cindric, that it turned him. I'm going to leave that one up for debate because I don't actually know. I haven't seen any of the data yet, but it looks like they just caught Cindric in a hurry, and when Brad hit him, it turned him towards the outside wall. Ended up creating the biggest big one we've had in NASCAR.
What did they say?
28 cars. 25, right? It was 25 or 26 was set in, I think, 2005 or 2006. We broke that record today with 28 cars. There was only 40 cars in the field. We eliminated almost 3/4 of the field in one crash.
Well, we only had half of them finish the race?
Well, so, from what it says, only 30 of them were actually running at the finish, but 28 of them were involved in the crash.
That just makes me think of something. Tony Stewart finally got his wish.
What they
We
all
have to
wrecked?
crash 50% of the cars.
No, we did.
Remember
Yeah,
when
you
he
did say
said
that.
We
that?
did. We crashed
there you
almost
go, Tony.
75%.
I'm not happy.
You
until
finally
we
got
wrecked
your
more than half
wish.
the field.
We managed to crash almost 75%.
And we didn't actually have to turn him around and go backwards like he was
And this
talking.
time it really didn't even cost him anything because he's done at the end of the season. Their team is
Funny
folded.
enough, at the
Barry was
hey.
involved in that crash.
I
at
So.
know,
the
but it
end
really
of the
ain't cost him
race,
nothing, so it is what it is.
at the end of the race, we had 31 cars running. Almost a quarter of the field was eliminated due to accident. 28 of those cars that were still running of the 31 were involved in the accident.
When the accident happened, we had what? 37 cars still racing because it was just Blaney and
They had
38
cars were left. Only 10 were not affected by the crash.
So this crash was based out of
Wow.
the movie Talladega Nights, where only a few cars made
Almost.
Oh, you mean
There was
one of the worst
essentially
racing movies
10
ever?
cars. Essentially 10 cars were not affected. I think the top 4 might have been safe because they all somehow managed to scoot by on the outside. There was what? Ricky Stenhouse, which I will get to that later. That's a story in itself. Ricky Stenhouse, William Byron, Kyle Larson. I forget who the fourth one was that went around the outside. I forget who it was now. It wasn't Allmendinger, it was somebody else. But they managed to make it around unscathed outside the crash. Definitely a spectacular crash. Was kind of surprised it finished the way it did. But, it happens that there's going to be the big one. We just weren't expecting it to be the biggest one.
I just
So-
wasn't expecting the winner today.
Yes, the winner of all things was Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Now, granted, he did have some contact in that crash, like to the point where the side of the car where the crush panel is, where they have all that foam, was actually exposed during the crash. He somehow managed to wheel this car to the line and beat out Brad Keselowski and William Byron, who finished out the podium, which they don't have a podium really, but
They should.
No, but
I was very surprised by that win. With the way the donut was on that car, I was shocked it was aerodynamically even remotely close to staying up front, and he managed to pull off the win. Beat Brad Keselowski by 6/1000ths of a second via the NBC broadcast, which is insane to me that we're getting such close finishes at Talladega over and over and over again.
and you know what I
It's
noticed?
getting awesome.
And I think I said this while we were watching today, but Kyle Busch, lo and behold, just
He
screwed
choked.
himself again
He
by pulling
choked.
out of line way too early.
I believe he was running 5th and just made a hard right, got out of line.
Well, I believe he was third in the outside row. So
Yeah. In the end, he ended up finishing. I
Must
gotta
be
go.
pretty bad if you're
It's pretty
still
bad if
looking.
I have to scroll. He
Yeah.
went from 3rd on the outside line to 19th
wow.
out of
Nobody would
31
go with
cars
him.
that finished.
I mean, you just see him. He just
Yeah, I know why
fell
nobody
right
would go
back,
with him
yeah.
because he's slow.
To put this in perspective,
He's old.
Todd Gilliland, who had
He's
to pull
not
out of
old, he's
line and
my
was
age.
involved in the accident, only finished, 4 spots behind him in 23rd? Corey LaJoy, who was involved in the accident. Alex Bowman, SVG. Martin Truex Jr., who ended up spinning earlier in the race and, couldn't really recover at all.
Hey,
Finished ahead of him.
I just noticed we have a fan that's we've never seen on here before. Hello to our new fan, Shannon Moss. How are you doing? I didn't notice that. I would have said something earlier.
It's to the point where Bubba Wallace is now stealing
Hey,
Kyle Busch's move.
Got to recognize our fans, man. Sorry.
You're good. But, Bubba Wallace drove the car back to pit road in reverse. It's so bad that other
Cole
people
Trickled it.
is stealing Cole Trickling Kyle Busch's move. He drove the thing back to pit road in reverse. It's almost like they switched roles. Like Bubba was in the 8 car, and Kyle's in the 23 because it's like an alternate universe. Why? I hated it when Kyle drove it back to pit road in reverse because he looked like a goober. Yeah, I guess it kind of makes
Bubba
sense.
Wallace. No,
Because
it
Bubba
is
looks like a goober as it is.
Yeah, he's a goober
But
anyways.
it's so bad that Kyle has a chance to win and he chokes.
Good to
He
have
pulled out of line.
good to have the controversial conversation back.
I don't understand why you will pull
That's
out
what
of
it was all
line.
about in the first place.
I never understood why he pulled out of line. I'm watching thinking, oh, he's going to make a move. Nobody went with him. They were not even halfway down the backstretch, and he jumps out of line. You're entirely too far out to make a move. They didn't make a move until they got to the entrance of the tri-oval. You were a whole 2/3 of a lap too early.
Yeah.
Why?
Excited?
Why would you pull out? I wouldn't say
That's what she
excited.
said.
I'm so
Sorry, I had to. You left that wide open.
Oh shit! Oh, all right. Let's stay on topic.
I
Well,
will
anyways.
never understand why Kyle Busch makes the moves that he does.
Because it's
He
Kyle
has
Busch.
had the chance. Well, no, it's not even that. Kyle has been
He's
known to.
desperate. He's not thinking. That's the problem.
I mean, this is a new low for him when it comes to desperation. I hate to say
Big
it to
time.
him. It's sad that he is making the moves that he is, knowing that he is a two-time champion. He went to what I think it was Texas in 2020. He went until he wanted to, without a win that season. He managed to get it.
You know,
This is even a stretch for that. I mean, I think we still have to go to Texas this year with the playoffs, but
Yeah.
he wasn't even in the
there is.
playoffs in 2020, I don't think, and he managed to get a win somehow. He
Well-
literally is, making more desperate moves now than he did that late in the season.
you want to know the move though that
I
that
feel
I
like he's
was-
trying too hard to do it.
I was actually disappointed in one of the moves that wasn't made at the end of this race was once Larson pushed Brad Keselowski past Ricky Stenhouse. I was actually disappointed not see
Brad
Keselowski
get up.
move up in front of Stenhouse because that line was faster and more consistent at being pushed than the line Kyle Busch and him were in. Because Bell was on and off of Kyle Larson, and I'm missing,
Stenhouse and Byron.
but yeah.
I mean, halfway down the backstretch, they were both broken
Bell
up.
was on and off of Larson's rear bumper, and that in turn made Larson have to go on and off of Keselowski's rear bumper. So the pushing wasn't the greatest in that line. So being the veteran that Brad is, you'd think he would have known better than to make that move up in front of Ricky Stenhouse and won the race himself. I was really surprised and disappointed to not see that happen.
I would like to bring a key fact to this, and I know I bashed Justin Haley for his Kansas move
Ooh.
earlier, but let's put this in perspective. He had a blunder at Kansas. He managed to give this 7 team a top 10 finish. Where was Corey in this time? Justin Haley finished 7th. Eric Jones, who couldn't do really anything all season, I mean, he struggled. So
I know why. They're driving a Toyota.
Well, I mean, this shocked me. Eric Jones finished the top 5.
Better than a Ford.
I mean,
What?
Ford finished 2nd.
This car better than a Ford.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, Eric Jones with the top 5. That's got to be his first top 5 since he won at Darlington. What, last year or 2 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, I was pleasantly surprised by Eric Jones. Very shocked that Justin Haley, after the blunder he had last week, pulled off a 7th place finish. Austin Dillon, who runs at the back of the pack normally, got a top 10 along with Bubba and Denny, which Denny has left much to be desired for him actually be up front. For all the Denny Hamlin fans, I feel sorry for you right now. I really wonder if he's going to make it to the next round. I kind of hope he does it at the same time for you guys' sake. I hope he does, because he has left a lot of points on the table. I believe no stage points in stage 1 in most of the races we've run. Maybe he got some at Bristol. Kansas didn't get any. I know we didn't really get any at Talladega today. We're going to the Roval. He's not exactly great on road courses, at least not that I'm aware of. I mean, it's definitely alarming that some of these guys are near the cutoff. I mean, Chase Elliott, you have one bad race in these playoffs and you drop down. But, you know, with the way the points are, some of these guys that started up towards the top of the playoffs for that round are now in danger of being eliminated.
Mm.
I mean, I believe we started off with, what was it? Chase Briscoe, Austin Cindric, Daniel Suarez, and I forget who the other one was. I think it was Tyler Reddick. We're on the verge of being eliminated. Currently, Joey Logano is on the outside looking in, going into the Roval. This is
So
alarming to me that we have two Team Penske drivers on the outside looking in currently with one race left in the playoffs or one race left in the round. I mean, Chase Briscoe, he's been flirting with disaster at the bottom. But at the same time, he has had I would say minimal success at the Roval. He hasn't won, but he was good in the Xfinity Series there. So I feel
I
like
think
there's a little bit there he could work with. Daniel Suarez has had more controversy when it comes to the Roval than good finishes, in my opinion. Austin Cindric, I'm not so sure how to react to that one. And Joey Logano, you would think would be in the good prior to going to a road course. That's not the case this week, and it's a bit alarming. I mean, right now we're going into a track that is pretty dominant by JGR and Hendrick Motorsports when it comes to finishes. Penske had their one glimpse of special when
oh
they
yeah,
had
because they took each
Ryan
other
Blaney
out.
when Ryan Blaney beat Jimmy Johnson and Martin Truex because they wrecked each other coming through the front stretch chicane. That's the only other team that has really shown a glimpse of success at the Roval.
That's
I
why it
mean,
says it's got to go.
Christopher Bell, I feel like when it comes to this round of the playoffs, I think Christopher Bell is obviously going to advance his way in if it's not one of the other 300 drivers. I honestly don't know if Kyle Larson will make it onto the next round because he's had minimal success at the Roval. I mean, we had him barely making it by in the original Roval, and he's had success on road courses, but I don't know if he's really consistent enough to, do what he needs to with the Roval this week. I really don't know. Bowman
So
has definitely surprised me. This may be the one where Alex Bowman wins his way into the next round at the Roval because I
the
feel
same
like
way
how
he won
consistent he
himself into the
is.
playoffs.
Well, he won one race at, Chicago
Chicago.
and advanced. But if you look back at Bowman's stats, he's finished second at the Roval at least twice, if not three times. I believe he finished behind it was either Bell or it was either Elliott
So
or Bowman finished second last year. And then every time that Elliott has won, it's been Bowman finishing second, as far as I know.
so with all that said, I believe we're pretty much
We're
covered.
way over time.
Pretty much covered with that. With all the racing stuff that Nathan and I have. I'm not sure exactly what Richard has. So what
Yeah,
did
I
you
got a little
have?
carried
What did
away.
I have?
Yeah, you said you had some stuff to talk
Yeah,
about.
all this freaking fancy equipment you guys got now. What the hell?
Moving
We've
up in the world.
upgraded.
I mean, I'm like looking at this thing. I was like, what the heck? I can't even read it.
That's called a prompter.
Wow, that's fancy. And you got the fancy lighting in here now and
All fancy gizmos and
all
gadgets.
fancy stuff. I remember when we just started from a laptop and all iPad.
What do you mean a
stuff.
laptop? We were doing it on a phone.
And then the
This
phones,
phone
yeah,
right here.
that one, yeah. And then the freaking
Because we actually had to hit the live, and then everybody could watch us walk from the phone to sit in
Yeah,
our
then we-
chair.
now-
Now we don't have to.
Now we
worry
got an
about
intro
that.
video. We got
and
all
now you
kinds
got all
of
these fancy
streaming.
Well,
microphones.
I actually had the video when Richard was still with me. I had that made.
You don't even use the big freaking radio thing anymore.
No, yeah, for phone
Yeah.
calls. No, I
How
don't.
do you do that?
I don't
now?
do phone calls anymore.
No.
We just add people
No.
on camera nowadays.
But
No shit.
if I want to do phone calls, I can literally just put one of the microphones in front of no.
Well, that's cool. Well, I'll be damned.
Because the microphones are this big.
Well, last year there was a couple guys. I went to a couple races last year. They wanted to come on, but Shipley was one of them, along with
But I also
a couple
don't.
others. But
With this new program that I use, I don't need to do. I've eliminated the need for phone calls because I can literally just send them a link to join by video if they have a smartphone. All I have to do is text them a link or email them a link,
like you do
and
with me.
and boom, they can join by video.
Yeah.
They don't have to make an account or anything through the program that I use. All they have to do is join, and boom. That's why I eliminated the phone calls so we could get more people in person.
Hey, I like that idea. That's cool.
So
But what about the guys that are out of state?
That's me.
they can still
Well,
they can still
you're
do
different.
that. They can
I
still
know
do that.
that.
They don't have to. You don't have to use a computer. All you have to do is have internet connection on your phone.
Oh, okay.
Well, we don't do the snail mail stuff. It's too slow.
Kind of like FaceTiming and stuff, you know.
Yeah, we don't do snail mail.
So how's everything going in the other racing worlds, like the karting series and stuff like that around town? Or you guys just try to stay out of that?
We just don't follow that anymore.
No.
There was just too much.
I
And
don't
too many
own a
different
cart.
series getting
Okay,
started.
I do own
and
a cart, but
this,
it's
that,
not
and the other.
racing
So
right
we
now.
just kind of quit following it, and we had to try to find something to focus on rather than being all over the board.
Yeah.
I will say there is one thing we missed dirt wise. We missed the Pittsburgher this past weekend. I didn't go to the Pittsburgher, but I will say they had a very, very, very entertaining extracurricular race where they had some of the Lucas guys come out to a local go-karting track and race against some of the fans. They went out to Three Rivers Karting, and I guess the Three Rivers Entertainment in Leedsdale, PA, and we got some of us, including me, got to race against some of the up-and-coming stars in the Lucas Tour. We raced against, what was it, Drake Troutman. We were supposed to get Garrett Alverson, but he blew a motor, so we ended up making it to the race. Garrett or not Garrett. So we had Drake Troutman, we had Michael Norris, Levi Etter, Colton Flinner. We had we were supposed to have Ricky Thornton Jr. He ended up backing out. So they brought in Brennan Smith, who's one of the Rookie of the Year candidates. And then they had a guest driver. The mailman, Devin Moran, came and raced with us. So that was definitely a cool little experience to get to race with them. I will say that I did get shipped by the mailman. I was in his way and I got punted, but hey, it was fun. I'm not gonna lie. Racing with those guys was extremely fun.
I'd punt you too.
And
I mean, to be fair, I did beat some of the guys out there, which had me ecstatic. I had Drake Troutman, Brennan Smith, and a couple other guys that I was very proud that I ended up having a faster lap time than them. If it weren't for the fact that Brennan Smith held me up in that final race, I probably would not have finished fourth. I probably would have had a way faster lap time. I was only off by a tenth of a second, and I ran out of laps or going faster laps.
I remember when I punted somebody, this guy right here pointed a black flag at me.
I wonder why.
Now I just throw you off the racetrack anymore. I just don't deal with it.
Well, he deserved it. Shouldn't have been blocking me.
Called the bump and run.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to do it for the night, though, guys. And it's been a pretty good show. It's been pretty cool to have you back with us, Richard.
Yep. Hopefully, it'll be more now.
I know you kind of.
I got a lot going on. The car situation, the Camaro's broke. We're doing a big LS swap.
The original Switching Grooves Camaro.
Yep.
We gotta start putting a sticker on the side of it.
No.
Gotta get the pace car out there.
We don't do stickers. That's a show car.
No.
Magnet or something.
No.
That's
advertising in other ways.
We're not doing the Fig Newton sticker across the windshield with Switching Grooves.
Nope.
Darn.
But we've won a lot of car shows this year, so a lot of big ones. But everything came down to an end in July when the engine blew.
Kaboom!
It went boom, big time. Blowing out the heads everywhere, out the exhaust, and it was bad.
Didn't I tell you to stop the banging it off the reg limiter? Come on, man, you know better.
It just happened driving down the highway, out of nowhere.
That was probably one of the problems with the ZTs that were in.
It was a mechanical issue. Well, design flaw with the heads and the engine are two different. The heads they're not aluminum, where the block is aluminum, and it causes the
expansion between the different
of the two different metals, and it ruins.
That's what the issue is with all the exhaust manifolds in these cars now. So.
You know now not to pull the pin,
doing,
right?
Huh?
You know now not to pull the pin.
What pin?
The one that goes boom.
It did it on its own.
Well, now you know not to pull that pin because that pin usually makes it go boom, coolant everywhere.
Yeah, well, that's what happened.
So, anyways, I think that's going to do it for the night, and I think it's time for us to shut her down and
Do
probably
you guys do it the same way?
get to bed. A little bit,
A
but
little bit.
Well, how do you
It's
guys
been a
do it
while
now?
since I've done this.
Nathan starts and I finish.
All right. Well,
That's what she said. Doesn't
Where do we
make
find
sense.
this guy at?
It didn't
Where do
fit
we
the
find
time.
him at?
It didn't work
No.
that time, dude.
All right, fine. Well, with Switching Grooves, I'm Nathan Johns.
And I'm Russ Fritz saying, don't forget to actually like and subscribe to our new YouTube channel at Switching Grooves on YouTube. And saying, excuse me.
Habit.
I'm saying, race hard,
Stay safe.
and we'll see you there. Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.